How's it going? My name is Brent from Encore PPF and Tint, and today we are working on a Tesla Model Y side view mirror. We're going to bulk this in one piece, and the coverage that we're going for is making it all the way to the bottom here, rounding around this edge about 1/2 inch or so, coming all the way up, and then here on the inside, what we're going to do is wrap the material around towards the mirror and then cut right along this edge. That'll give us a nice clean install where when you're looking at the mirror from here, you won't see any edges. So this comes out really good. So I have made a video about this in the past, but we had some people who were having a difficult time getting this process completed on a Tesla Model Y mirror. This is the most difficult mirror out of all the Teslas. So if you're using this technique, it's probably best to maybe start on a Model 3 or something like that. This mirror is taller than the other ones, and it does take the most stretching. We're also going to cover a couple other steps that I didn't cover in the last video. So we're going to go ahead and wipe this. So this car's already been washed, it's been clay barred, and now we're going to wipe this mirror down with 70% straight rubbing alcohol. So I just put it into a spray bottle like this, and then we're going to get all these edges really good. Every edge that the material is going to stick to, we're going to want to get that wiped off really good. Then we'll come across the bottom here. Okay, and then you can also go ahead and you can wipe the whole thing down. That wouldn't hurt anything at all. But the edges are the most important. Oh man, you can feel that it just takes all the wax off and the towel just doesn't want to slide across it just the same anymore, excuse me. All right, just in case that left any residual rubbing alcohol in there, we're gonna go ahead and rinse that off and then wipe it down. Terrific. I'll go grab a piece of bulk material and we'll show you how we do this. Okay, that looks like that'll fit on there real good. We got plenty of coverage. Let's go ahead and put some Tack solution on this bottom section here and also spray off the bottom of the mirror. And then what we're gonna do first is tack to the mirror stock. Now the advantage to something like this is it's almost like having a third hand. So that's going to hold in place while we do the rest of our stretching. So from here, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to stretch basically over this direction, but down. And then same here is kind of pulling like towards me and then down. And what that's going to do is we want to get this stuff laid on there nice and tight, get rid of all these fingers, and then we want some tension from left to right so that this material naturally just wants to curl in to the mirror. Okay, so it's definitely important that you make sure that there is no pre-tacking to the mirror stock. So if you put your Tack solution in there and you accidentally got some out here, you want to go ahead and hit that with some slip solution. Okay, so what we're going to do now is let's get this stretched into place. Okay, so that looks really good. I'm going to bring the two pieces of material over to one hand there. Let's get a little slip on this. And then we're going to go ahead and squeegee this out. So that's looking really good. Go ahead and bring this down, and then I'll bring everything over towards me. Like I said, this is the most difficult Tesla mirror to perform this technique on. Okay, I've got that all squeegeed out. I want to give this just a little bit longer so that this can start tacking. Because we're going to let go with the other hand and we don't want it all popping loose and then getting fingers. If you are noticing that you're having situations like that because you're running more slip in your slip solution, then you can put some rubbing alcohol on here right before you do the stretch and then tack with that, and that should help eliminate that problem. So we're not quite tacked all the way down here on the bottom. And so what we're actually going to do, let me see if I can let go of this. I'm going to go ahead and take my fingers and just kind of wrap this around into the back. And it looks like we're actually staying down really well. Okay, that looks really good. Now, let's go ahead and sneak some tack solution in here. So you can see it running all the way back over here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeegee this down. I'm going to go into that recess that's between the mirror and the mirror stock. And then I'm going to pop this loose off of the mirror stock and we're going to tuck it in there. And what that tucking that in is going to do is that's going to hold it on that edge really good while it's drying. And we're going to go ahead and do that all the way around on the bottom. Okay, that looks really good. Now right here I am going to cut this film right like that, and we're going to wrap this around. So I'm going to put some tack underneath this. Okay, and we'll wrap this around. Let's go ahead and just for the video's sake, I'm going to go ahead, make sure that this isn't stuck to the mirror stock anymore, and we'll go ahead and or close that mirror. Okay, so let's push this down now. Like I said, we just barely want to make it past that rounded edge, and that's going to be plenty of coverage. The further you go over there, the less likely this stuff is to actually stay stuck down to the mirror, because we're asking a lot of it. Okay, great. We'll go ahead and open that back up. And then we're going to work on the inside here of the mirror. So let's go the other direction. Okay, so you can see basically where our line is going to come across here. And then so we'll just go ahead and put a cut right there. What that's going to do is tell us where we're going to start coming around in here. Now before we trim that out, let's go ahead and get some tack solution in here and get this all wrapped around. All right, so I'm going to switch over to this squeegee here, which has got, it's a lot firmer of a squeegee. So it does a really good job of putting a lot of pressure on the material and getting all of the solution out. Okay. Just wrapping this around, then making sure that it's all squeegeed out really well. All right, so I'm just really pushing that down on that edge. Make sure that everything is staying stuck down. That's feeling really good. Let's go ahead and trim that now. All right, let's get ourselves a fresh blade. And we'll go ahead and trim this. Came off my line. Bring this down. And then we'll start the process of it going around. Okay, so let's grab right here and we'll pull on that and get that to tear. Okay, terrific. Now what I'm going to do is take a towel and we're going to push everything back down and make sure that we've dried this edge out. Okay. We're going to go ahead and trim around the bottom now. I'm just staying right at the bottom edge. Okay. There we go. Terrific. Now we will go ahead and dry this edge out. Okay, let's work on trimming this backside now. Hopefully the GoPro can get this. I feel like we're gonna get in each other's way here. Let's see, how does it do this direction? That doesn't really help much either. So I'm just popping that up. I'm gonna try and sneak just a tiny bit more out of this. Okay. All right, yeah, I'm gonna get right in front of this. Okay, so we're gonna come across the bottom, and then we're going to turn up. And actually ended up a little bit higher. That's fine though. Higher than that cut. Right. Back into my cut right there and all the way in. Okay. I can see the cut. It says, I know it's there. Okay, let's try over here. Get that to break loose. Okay, there we go. We'll take this down. Around the corner down there. And then let's come around this corner. There we go. And then we'll dry this corner out. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and heat seal this. The heat sealing is definitely a critical part with this, as well as the rubbing alcohol, to make sure that, you know, we got all these edges. I mean, got them stuck down really good, got good adhesion, and then we want to finish that off with a good heat seal. So I'm just warming up the edges and then pushing them down. Okay, that's looking good. All right, so that I did cut over the top of that little finger, and so I do have a little piece popping up right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to trim up just a little bit higher. I was trying to sneak that little bit of extra coverage out of it, but it just doesn't want to do it. So let's go ahead and heat this up. Okay, so you can see that little bit here that didn't want to go down. I tried to sneak a little bit of extra coverage out of it by cutting over that little finger that was popping up, and I should have just stayed just to this side of that finger, and then we wouldn't have had that little issue. Okay, now we'll go ahead and heat up inside the mirror. Okay, so you can see I left a little bit of adhesive from where I tore that material away. So I'm just running over that. Get that off of the paint. There we go. Now let's go ahead and trim this up just above that line there. Since we just heated the mirror up, we do not want to cut it while it's hot. So let's go ahead and cool this down. Because when you're trimming paint protection film, you don't want it to be real hot, because you know it is a self-healing material, so you're kind of just working against yourself when it's hot. You could also just wait, but for the video's sake, we're going to go ahead and get this done right now. Okay, there we go. Now, so I'm gonna come all the way back over to here. And we're just gonna go up higher. Enough to clear that spot. And bring it to a tiny sliver right there. And let's see if we can get that to tear somewhere. Sticking my fingernail, trying to get it right in the edge. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna pull down, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a cut in this. Like that, and we'll take this way. So I'm following it with my finger, and I'm just making sure that it's not pulling the material up as it's coming across that trim line. Okay, and then we're going to go down. Look at that. Terrific. Got a little bit of adhesive there where I pulled that away. We'll go ahead and clean that off. You can also use some rubbing alcohol. Helps that come off really quick. Terrific. So for the video's sake, I went ahead and just did this all the way through. Now, if I was not doing this in a video, what I would do is install that paint protection film, and then I would just let it sit there and cure. So I'd wrap everything down, let it sit and dry, and then I would come back and trim it and then do the heat seal process. Because what that does is that just helps all the edges stay stuck down really well as, let's see, how do I explain that? Before paint protection film is completely cured, you can make distortions in the adhesive by putting heat on it and then rubbing on it like this. And so if this was, especially if this wasn't white, it's because it's white, it's really not going to matter because you're not going to see something so minor. But you can get that stuff more in like the blacks or the red Teslas. And so, like I said, what I would do is just stretch that on, leave it tacked to the mirror everywhere, and then just let that sit and dry and then come back and trim it. Well, that's some amazing coverage. So we've got coverage all the way back into the mirror here, and then down the side, and you know, nice line across the bottom and the front. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about this mirror install, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, let's go ahead and take a little more of a close look at this.